So Opus is a 2025 American thriller film. I know what I titled this video. Written and directed by Mark Anthony Green in his feature directorial debut. Alright, let's talk about this movie for a little bit. This is just one of the weirdest movies, and I mean weird in a bad way. It's been a while since I watched this movie, and I refuse to watch it again for this video. I refuse to watch it ever again in the history of time. The movie starts, it's so weird because from what I remember, there's a musician performing and then they are doing these weird kind of close-ups on different types of people, their bodies kind of gyrating to the music. The point is that these people love the music and the musicians so much. So it's like these slow motion spotlighted, like they are orgasmically enjoying this musician's music, like at a concert. It's so weird. It's disorienting. It's not fun. It's jarring. It's a very strange, ugly, uncomfortable way to start a movie. Then you get to the premise of the movie, which is there's a musician who was at the top of his game 30 years ago, like one of the biggest musicians ever. And then all of a sudden he disappeared. You don't hear from him, you don't see him, no trace of him, he just disappears. No announcement of his retirement, whatever. So there are rumors now that this musician, after 30 years, is coming back into the spotlight. So this group of reporters are like, oh, we should get in on this. This is going to be huge. So the cast includes Ayo Edibiri, John Malkovich, Juliette Lewis, Murray Bartlett. So these reporters are going to the compound of this musician, and it's all like very secretive, very exclusive. It's very strange. They get to the compound, and would you believe it, things are not as they seem. It's very cult-like. It's not just him as a musician. He's kind of like leading a movement, and then one by one people get killed. The movie sucks ass. Pretty much everything about it I hated. The direction, the writing, the acting. As far as I remember, there was nothing redeeming about the movie. It was very uncomfortable to watch. It was one of those movies where I constantly wanted to pause the movie because I was so uncomfortable watching it. I was like embarrassed to be watching it. I almost had to watch it like, it's so uncomfortable and cringe to watch it. But at the same time, I knew that every time I paused it, it would be delaying the inevitable, which is to get through this movie. I just thought the movie sucked. Let me briefly look at Mark Anthony Green. I don't know who this guy is. His Wikipedia is literally 1.5 lines. Mark Anthony Green, American filmmaker, former journalist, editor of GQ magazine. He made his feature directorial debut with the film Opus 2025. That's it. That is his Wikipedia page. So for all those artists and filmmakers out there, I hope you go for your dreams, because now we know that you don't have to have a background in films. You don't have to know anything about horror or thrillers or film or acting or directing at all. You can be a former journalist and editor of GQ magazine and then jump straight into the role of director. It's not only possible, it has happened. So please go for your dreams. One of the most baffling things I found about this movie is Amber Midthunder is in this movie. I think she has 1 or 2 lines in the movie. And I think the line that I remember is she says, "Good morning." She's essentially a background actor in this movie. And I don't understand, because the first time I saw Amber Midthunder was in Prey. And I really liked Prey, and I really liked her performance, which was in 2022. So maybe she has a bad agent, I don't know. But how do you go from being not only being the star of Prey, which is part of the Predator franchise, which is one of the longest enduring science fiction action franchises in film history. You go from the star of that to essentially a background actor in a terrible, terrible, terrible movie. And again, I really liked her in Prey, so what happened there? And then Murray Bartlett, I really loved in White Lotus season 1. He was really good. He was a standout character for sure. And then every time I see him, I don't recognize him. So he feels like a chameleon. Next time I saw him was in The Last of Us. For some reason, everyone was talking about the Parks and Rec guy instead of Murray Bartlett. So here I see him for a third time. Why did he accept this role in this movie? Why did any of these performers accept this role in this movie? Ayo Edibiri, I don't know much about. I've never seen The Bear, not much interest. I know a lot of people love her. Why did she go for this movie? No one is good in this movie. Another baffling thing is that if a musician who was at the top of his game 30 years ago, if they came back 30 years later, no one would care. Maybe 3 people. You know what I mean? Music changes a lot in 30 years. Music changes a lot in 3 years. Sometimes there are people who were big 3 years ago who they're almost forgotten now. Not always, but sometimes. So after 30 years, the whole premise of this movie is fucked. Because after 30 years, no one is going to care. Imagine, R.I.P. Michael Jackson. He was probably a pedo. But imagine if he went away without a trace, and then 30 years he came back. He would be 30 years older. His fans would be 30 years older. These legacy acts that are still performing, they are not the same as they were 30 years ago. If they make new music 30 years later, their voice and bodies are going to be 30 years older. And I'm not saying that older people can't perform or be creative, but it's not going to be as essential, as active, as mind-blowing as it was 30 years ago. It's just not. And then John Malkovich is in this. He's like dry humping the other actors, and it's supposed to be praised. And, Ayo Edibiri's character is like, what the fuck's going on? It's very strange. It's very weird. I saw one review that said John Malkovich is having fun with his role. Maybe? I don't know. I can't really tell. I did not like this movie at all. It says here Rosario Dawson plays a voice. Why? Why is one of our most beautiful and striking actors playing a voice in the worst movie of 2025? Like, I don't understand it. I think I've said all I've had to say about this movie. For example, I did not like Happy Gilmore 2. I really didn't like it at all, but I was not embarrassed while watching it. I didn't really like Nosferatu, but I wasn't embarrassed while watching. I was embarrassed while watching this movie. It was cringe and embarrassing to watch, and it's uncomfortably bad. Those are my thoughts on the movie Opus. Let me know your thoughts. I'm sure there's people out there who's like, it wasn't that bad. What are you gonna do? That's all I got for this video. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out. Happy holidays, and say hi to your pets for me.